Welcome to the Seagrove Sessions, episode 38. The Seagrove Sessions are memories and tales from members of NEDC's Seagrove Centre. This time round we hear from Nancy and get to know about a part of town we've not explored before, Abbeyhill. We get to hear about the local shops and businesses in Montrose Terrace, her days at Abbeyhill Primary and Norton Park Secondary School, her dancing days, and travels down to London on her own at the age of 13. Great tales from the 1950s and 60s. Enjoy.
I was born in 1944. Up to 5 I was out at the Christophe, the old Maybury Road. My granddad was on a farm and my mum and dad didn't have a house, so we stayed with...
Pretty a rural kind of...
I know. I was pretty young though.
Yeah.
I just remember vague things about it,
Yeah. So what was your grandfather doing on the farm?
Just a farm worker. And my mum used to work on the farm as well.
Obviously his background was more rural if he was working on a farm.
Yeah. And my Aunt Bob's during the war, she was in the land army. So it's always been... And my Uncle Peter worked on the farm, but he didn't really enjoy it, so he left and went somewhere else.
So that was that your mother or father's side?
My mother's side.
Right, okay. So what about your father's side? Did you know?
He was adopted. I don't know how he got the job in Edinburgh, but he worked in the factory at Haymarket. It's away now. There was a rubber factory, and when that closed, he moved to the Leith one. So I think when it was 5 and he'd got the job, and I think my granddad was getting close to retirement and they're tied houses.
Yeah, that's right. So what happened to your granddad? They didn't move with you, did they?
No, they worked when my mum and my aunt and that were smaller. They worked at Hatton Mains outside at Damahoy, and the farmer there offered them a small house. So they moved back to Hatton Mains,
So did you go out and visit him
when I was from about 8 onwards? I spent a lot of my summer holidays out there.
So you were still doing the countryside?
Yeah, quite. Though my mum hated it, she would never go back. She said she would go and visit, but she would never live.
So the town suited her.
And she liked films and so.
So what were your first memories of Abbeyhill then?
Ground flat, the windows had bars on them, and you walked in the door and it was just a small hallway, the lobby you would say.
Yeah.
You had a toilet on that side, then a living room, come bedroom.
So you actually had an inside toilet, which was
good, because some of the ones in Abbeyhill didn't, and then a bedroom, and that was it.
So what street was this?
Line. L-I-N-E.
So you would have gone, that wasn't far away from your school?
No, round the corner.
Did you like school?
I wasn't all that keen on the primary, but I liked the secondary.
Do you remember any of the teachers at primary?
Miss Nisbet was our teacher for quite a long time. She unfortunately died just before we took our qualies. She was quite a big woman. Very good teacher though. If your pen was pointing the wrong way, she'd come up and say, "You're writing, the pen's pointing that way."
So quite strict,
Yeah.
And any particular lessons you liked?
Yeah, I liked English. I liked to scribble,
So you're saying your qualies, which high school?
Norton Park.
Oh right, so again not too far away.
No. And I was lucky I got a 3-year commercial course, so I could do shorthand and typing and bookkeeping.
So is that what you went on to do?
Well, I never used my shorthand because all the places I worked, they didn't do shorthand. They either straight onto a typewriter, or when I worked in the schools it was exam paper, so the teachers wrote them manually and you typed them into the step.
And do you remember any of the teachers from Norton Park?
Quite a few of them. Miss Duff was our commercial teacher. She always had weird colours of hair, and the makeup. And we had a very good French teacher, Mrs. Milne, She was good,
Did you like French?
I could write it, but I could never speak. She used to shake her head and say, I suppose we'll have to listen.
Oh, what a shame.
I know. And we had Mr. Brown was our maths teacher. And when I think back on it, we were really cruel. Because it's a commercial class, you're a mixed class, boys and girls, where the general are just all girls or all boys.
Right.
So we got the boys for English, maths, history, but for our commercial subjects, they went away and did mechanical and
yeah.
But Mr. Brown had a lisp, a stutter, and we knew if we upset him, he would stutter, and we were really cruel. Mind you, he was cruel back. He would ask if you wanted the belt or the ruler. Didn't matter what you picked, you got the next.
So they were really giving that out at that time. Did you ever get it?
Oh, I had it a couple of times. And Mr. Leith was our geography teacher, and he was also in charge of the football team.
Oh, right.
So the boys would start and say, oh, that was a terrible game on Saturday, sir. And he'd be half the lesson a week before.
Well, he would have enjoyed last night if he was still around.
He would have, yeah.
So what age were you when you left school?
15. Left school on Friday and started on Monday.
Which was a common thing, wasn't it? And where did you start?
I started at Trinity Academy.
Right.
They were all older than me because they went to 17 and 18 because it was a senior secondary. So I was the assistant. But I had a very good teacher. The lady who worked there, Mrs. Gall, was brilliant, And at that time, you used to do the primary school as well. Wow. So you had to go over and get their dinner tickets and the things,
So that's... Because at 15, you're still pretty young, aren't you?
I was. The first day I was terrified,
Really?
I thought, maybe I'll just go home,
Oh, no. Do you remember what your wages was at that?
Oh, it wasn't very much, because I was always borrowing from my mum at the end of the month, because you got paid monthly,
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Because usually it was
because it was the council, you're on. The interview was at the old offices, where the Edinburgh Council was on St George Street. That's where I did my interview, so I only got... In fact, I had to go and find out where the school was. My friend and I had to go to Saturday and get a bus. And we missed it and ended up in West Hilton because she had family there. And they told us we'd have to get in the number 1 and go back and get off just past the stop, where the crematorium is.
Isn't it funny how localised people were, that you didn't know where
I know.
Trinity was? Because they're not that far away.
No, you're not, but it just was near an hour, sort of, and it was fee paying as well, so...
Oh, of course it was in those days, wasn't it? Yeah. And we've spoken about the local area. When I was talking to you before, you had a good memory of the shops that were about you.
Yeah.
Could you tell us about them again?
The one at the top of Line Street, on the corner, was the local grocer, Mr. Fisher. Him and his wife ran it together, and sold everything, all the groceries, cold meat, potatoes, everything. And he had the book, so if anybody was skint, you could go and write in the book, and then you paid it when you got paid,
Which was an important part of life, wasn't it?
It was,
Especially for some people.
I know. You know where the Regent Bar is?
Yeah.
Next to that was the newsagent, or Fraser's it was, because I did papers there. Right. I did night. He wouldn't allow girls to do morning papers, boys did that. Night, just down Montrose Terrace, round Abbeyhill, for 5 shillings, I think it was. And I think the boys got 12 and 6 because they did the mornings.
Right. And did you keep all that 5 bob, or did you?
Read the pictures. Our thing was on a Saturday to go down to Portobello to the fairs and the...
So we've got the newsagents.
Yeah.
What about...
Next to that, I'm not too sure, I think it was a hairdresser, and then next to that there was Herbie's. He was sold sweeties, Cokes, ice cream, and most of the young lads and that used to go in there for their Coke, a chat. And then there's 2 I'm not sure about, but there was a baker's there, and then there was a hairdresser's, and then you had the Venal going down. And then most of the shops on the way down were the stores in Cuthbert's. You had the bakery, the chemist, the butcher, and the big store. And then in between there was a pet shop, and there was a chemist, store at the chemist as well. And at the Vennel, at the very top, was a sweetie shop. The sweeties were still on the books, you know.
The ration, yeah.
But she would always give you an extra few, you know. She was really good. And I was talking to Anne, I was at my sister-in-law's on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And she grew up in Abbeyhill as well.
Right, yeah.
And I was saying to her, what was the name of the garage? And it's Dante Monroe's, you know where Sinclair's was. Well, you called it the Turret. And
yeah.
well, from there to like the buildings, you know, the high buildings, it was Dante Monroe's taxi and garage services.
Now, when I first came to Edinburgh in the early 90s, that was still a filling station. Is that the
That's
same
right,
bit?
yeah. I think the taxis moved out, you know, but
right.
I know it because when I used to walk down for the 26 bus stop, and it was always pitch black, you know, but they always had a wee light where the guy was sitting, and there was, as I said, a library, which I think's now I'm not quite sure what it is, but it was a library, you know, a London library.
Was that a private?
Private, yeah.
Good grief.
Because my mum used to go there, you know. And then they had Bald's chip shop, and then there was a chip shop over the road as well,
right.
Angelo's. And then there was funny enough, it still is a children's shop, but it was called Terry's. And then you had the bakers and the butcher and the fishmonger.
So really, like a lot of streets, everything was there.
Yeah, everything, you know. And I think it was a paint and wallpaper shop. It was quite a big one, but it changed hands that many times, you know. Right, okay. And on the corner was the laundrette. Greek cafe,
yeah.
But it was the laundrette for years, you know. And then when you just went round into Abbeyhill where the school was, they had a wee hairdresser there, which is now a house, you know.
Oh, right. And of course, in those days, the church was
there, yeah. And at the bottom, very bottom, there was a printers, small printers.
Going a little bit further down, when I came to Edinburgh, right on the corner, which is now that funny green high building, going down, was the Berry Suite.
That's right. I was never in it, but I knew it was there. And the station was there as well. Was the station still there when you... No. Because when we were in the Sunday school, they used to take you down to the station and go waiting off Berwick, you know, in places. And then next to the station, I always remember they had the fruiters. Because my mother-in-law, she lived in Line Street as well, and that's where she used to go for all her fruit. And then you had the pawn shop up above, you know, where the safari lounge is.
Yeah.
The one, the stair there. My mum didn't have to work because she was very badly burnt when she was younger. She was in service and she fell into the fire so she spent quite a lot of time in, you know, Leith Hospital, the small one, and that's why she went to work on the farm afterwards, because she couldn't go back to...
Oh no.
So she never really worked, you know. So my dad worked all week, 2 full times on a Tuesday and a Thursday, half day Saturday, and sometimes a Sunday, depending, you know.
My God, he was a grafter.
He was a hard worker.
Yeah.
Only worked a half day on a Saturday because he was a heart supporter, so. And it was quite funny because my mum used to have all his clothes laid out and his shoes, and he'd come in, have his lunch, get washed, and away to football. And I mean, he lived till he was 90, and he probably would have lived longer, but he had faulty valves and he was too old because he walked everywhere. Hated buses and hated cars, you know.
So it was still the countryside in him?
Yeah, I think so.
And your mum, you said, loved being in the city?
Oh, she loved the pictures, and I remember I was small, and she loved cowboy films, you know. I grew up hating Randolph Scott.
What cinema would you go to? Or would she go to?
Eastway, Regent, because they were just round the corner. And then I got older, I could go to Eastway and the Regent myself. You know? And then on Saturday night, my pal and I would probably go a wee bit further, you know, maybe down to Pierce Hill, you know, where they had the one there. And And Anne and I, when I got older, Anne and I used to go to all the horror films in the pools, Sydney Hall, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Because you had to watch where you sit, because they had pillars in the middle, you know. I mean, there weren't any horror pictures like they are now, you know.
No,
it was
no,
like
no.
Dracula or Peter Cushing, you know. Like,
Sort of hammer horror.
so you were sort of, you couldn't see anything, but you were, you know, not like now when it's graphic.
So you didn't go and watch cowboy pictures?
No.
Did you go dancing?
Well, my friend didn't really dance. So what I used to do when I went to night school, I would go with the girls at night school and we'd go up to the Pally and then get the bus home.
What sort of time would you be trailing back?
Well, I would leave the high school. We did it at, you know, the old Royal High. Go up to Pally when we finished there, you know, probably getting about 9:20. And then I had to leave at 11 because the last 26 was about 11. Had to get that home, you know.
So it was a good night.
Good night.
And of course, in those days, when you went out, especially women, I believe, you weren't drinking.
No, I mean, the only time we really went drinking was if we had a night out, and maybe a dozen of you would go. One of the places was the Fox Covert. So you could have a meal and a dance, you know.
Where was the Fox Covert?
Clemson.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know where
So we would get the bus there, 26.
Straight there.
And they usually finished about maybe 10:30, you know, get the bus home, you know.
So you actually, you went round the town quite a bit, didn't
Yeah, we, on a Saturday, we used to either walk up London Road and up Leith Walk or over the High Road, you know.
So were there any other dance halls you got to?
When I got a wee bit older, I went to the Cavendish on a Thursday, and I did one night go down to the one in Leith, the Eldorado, but I never went back. I mean, they were searching everybody going in, you know, and it was rough, so...
It was getting a bit rough by that time, wasn't it?
So I never really went back.
Because they used to have wrestling there, people.
They did have wrestling.
Yeah. And I should have asked, did you have brothers and sisters?
No, I was the only one. I wouldn't recommend it though, really. Well, I did get spoiled, you know, my granny spoiled me. And because when I got a wee bit older, she used to take me to London because one of her daughters, they went to Wales and then they moved to Surrey.
Oh, wow.
So I spent a lot of my summers down in Surrey. Even when I got older, I used to take the bus down. Mum used to put me on the bus, and then there was always two drivers, and they would put me off at 6 o'clock in Victoria. Cousin's husband would have to come and pick me up. So.
And what sort of age would you be then?
14 probably when I started
Still
doing that.
quite young to be going to London, isn't it? And we're talking now, we're talking late 50s into the 60s?
Yeah, it would be, because I left school in 59. But I was going to London in the bus. I must have been about 13 when I first started going down, you know, because the drivers used to watch, because they used to stop at Greenlaw, and then there was another stop during the night, but I never got out at that one, you know. Yeah. And then you stopped at somewhere in London, Hatfield, I think it was, they stopped for breakfast, you know.
That is quite something for a 13-year-old to be doing.
Mm-hmm. I quite enjoyed it though, because I liked my auntie, you know. Even now I like to go to study and I like to go to London, you know.
Right, you still got that connection?
Yeah, still got that connection. Well, the family's still there, so now my girls are going down and my grandson.
And of course, getting into the late 50s, into the 60s, things were getting a bit different, weren't they?
That's right, because I remember Anne and I at 16, we flew to Dublin. I thought that was great, you know. And it was Aer Lingus, you know, the wee props, you know.
And you flew from Edinburgh?
Flew from Edinburgh, went into Dublin, and the first time we went, we flew because our mum and Anne's dad was in the railway, so his mum always used to travel down to Wales and get the ferry over to Dunleary, and that's where we stayed. So we flew and got the bus into Dublin, you know. A lot of poverty at that time, though, when you went through the back streets of Dublin.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we, like the kids, some of them were running about in bare feet, you know.
Different world.
It is, but they're friendly, you know.
Yeah.
And the lights, we stayed in Dunleary, and you had to be in by 12 o'clock because the lights went out, you know. It was just a small village.
So, yeah, that would have been about, 1961 that you were... you were doing that. Did you go on any other holidays? Or?
Mostly London. When I was friendly with Anne, we went to, where did we go now? Scarborough train, because our dad got the tickets, so we got the train.
Yeah. And we talked about you've gone dancing, and you've obviously spoken that you had children. So where did you meet your husband?
Well, he lived in the same street. Anne, my friend, that was our brother, but he was 6 years older, so it wasn't till I was about 19, 20 before we sort of got together.
And did you go dancing with him, or?
Alec didn't dance. Well, he could dance, but he didn't like to dance.
Right.
Pictures and, again, cowboys.
You've been inflicted with cowboy
and
fans.
we used to, his friends through work, you would maybe go out with them, 22.
Because people generally did get married younger, I think.
That's
didn't
right.
they?
Well, a lot of his friends, because Alec was 26, they were already married, So it was sort of quite a few of them came from Abbeyhill, so.
So you would have known them as well.
Mm-hmm.
And where did you go to live as a married?
We started off in Spey Terrace in Leith in a little room and kitchen. And then when we had Susan, we got our house, and when we went for the interview, it was either Craig and Tinney, the high flat. And I said, you don't want to go in the high flats. And he said, well, would you go to Portobello? And I said, what about Portobello? And he said, flats. And we had passed them, and Alec had done the lifts on them. So I said, yes. So it's good for the kids, to start.
Yeah.
But it wasn't good for them when they got a wee bit older, So we transferred up to the Grove. A lady wanted a change, she didn't like the house. So.
And was it, because now there's quite a palaver getting a good council house?
Yeah, it wasn't at that time. I mean, Alec's friend at work, they lived in Bread Street, and they got a house at the new ones when they built Broadway, up at
Northfield.
Northfield, yeah. They got one of the first.
Because I suppose they were building council.
They were building, and it was only when Maggie Thatcher, and I think because my mum and dad didn't own a house, and his mum and dad didn't own a house, Alec wasn't that keen to buy, But when it came up, it was such a good offer. I mean, it really wasn't fair to people that needed council houses because they didn't build after they sold,
Well, that was always the problem.
Yeah.
Not that people were buying, but they weren't replacing the stock. And when you started out, was money quite tight, or?
No, Alec was a lift engineer, so he had
it was
good money. And at that time, they did maybe a week on, did night shift, not night shift, but on call. So, well, he had a van to start off. Eventually, he went into the office as a salesman,
Okay.
3 girls.
And did they just go to Portobello?
Portobello. They went to Tower Bank to start off with, and then Portobello.
Not the very old one, but the one they knocked down.
That's right. And then my grandson, he went to Tower Bank. And
well, you've created a great an image of Abbeyhill.
It was a great place to be in, everybody was friendly. I mean, you come down the street, and the neighbours would be yap, And then when they all got a bit older, the girls and that, you could, if you came in for the pictures, you could see them upstairs with their boyfriend.
Thank you for listening to episode 38 of the Seagrove Sessions, Nancy's Stories. To listen to more episodes of our podcasts and for more information about the Seagrove Centre, go to www.nedc.org.uk or check us out on Facebook, NEDC, the Seagrove Centre. Catch you the next time.